All right, there's a lot I want to cover regarding the border. We're going to also talk just a quick update on Abrego Garcia and the fact that, per Tom Homan, the border czar, we've deported about 139,000 immigrants. So we're going to get into all of that. Lots to get into. Let's start with the. So there's a little bit of, I'm just going to say a little bit of disinformation coming from the left, admittedly. So, all the headlines are Trump has deported 3 U.S. children to Honduras, just making it sound like, they were just deported and without their parents or whatever. So the actual story here, as Tom Homan's going to describe, is actually, instead of me explaining it, I'll let him explain it. This is one thing he's I guess right on. Now, do I agree with it? No, I'll get into that as we watch this.
Are you concerned that due process, at least for the U.S. citizen children, is being flouted, and that the speed at which the enforcement is being done could lead to errors?
I'd said from day one that if you enter this country legally, it's a crime. If you choose to have a U.S. citizen child, knowing you're in this country legally, you put yourself in that position. You put your family in that position. What we did is remove children with their mothers who requested the children depart with them. This was a parental decision. Parenting 101. The mothers made that choice. And I tell you what, if we didn't do it, the story today would be Trump administration separating families again. No, we're keeping families together. So when a parent says, I want my 2-year-old baby to go with me, we made that happen. They weren't deported. We don't deport U.S. citizens. The parents made that decision, not the United States government. This administration is doing the right thing. Having a U.S. citizen child does not make you immune from our laws. If that's the message we send the entire world, enter the country legally. It's a crime. Don't worry about it. We got a secure border by enforcing our laws. We're not making this up. We're enforcing laws under statute enacted by Congress, and it's the right thing to do.
God, man, everyone talks about how Pete Hegseth is, a DUI hire, a drunk. You can't tell me that Tom Homan is not absolutely slosh day to day. Like, there's no way that's just how he talks. There's just no way. This dude is hammered. All right, hear me now. Quote me later. Anyways, so what he says is true. It's not like they're grabbing U.S. citizen children and deporting them. They are being voluntarily deported with their parents who are undocumented. So obviously I'm against this full stop, because I am, no matter how much the polls say or how much pushback I get, I will stand on all of this on principle. But immigrants are not a problem to our country. It's not this systemic, deep issue that's causing, inflation and high crime rates or high grocery prices, whatever. Like, it's just not true. It's a boogeyman. And if you look at the studies, which we'll look at some here in a moment, it's just not true. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And these people will demonize them because, whatever reason, they want to marginalize and shift blame to any group so that we keep fighting amongst each other, instead of, hey, looking at the real people, which is them and their billionaire buddies are the ones that are actually screwing us over. But anyways, this is just a humanity issue too. If you have 2 parents here, both of them undocumented, and they have a kid, you think you're so high and mighty and you're keeping families together by deporting the whole family instead of just the parents. Like, how about if they're here, they have a kid, presumably they're working, they may even have a house or renting, whatever. Wouldn't just the right thing to do, if they're law-abiding people, just to offer them legal status or a path to citizenship? Can someone tell me why that's a bad idea? Because as we're going to look, any study under the sun about immigration is going to show that it is a net positive. This isn't even getting into the declining birth rates of our country. And if Trump is so paired with that, and if Trump wants to bring back this huge manufacturing base, well, we're going to need manpower. And like right now, we don't have a jobs problem. We don't have a job shortage problem. We have a wage problem. So let's be clear on that. And because of that, so when we are doing these mass deportations, we're having states like Florida trying to roll back child labor laws so that teens who are in school can work overnight shifts on school nights and pretty much work uncapped amount of hours a week. That's where we're at. So I don't care where the polls are, where I just know where I stand is right, and that immigrants are, they're not the issues. They're not the reason why our country is the way it is, to put it lightly. So here's just a couple of studies regarding crime and undocumented immigrants. National Academy of Sciences found immigrants, both legal and undocumented, are less likely to commit crimes than native-born Americans. Majority of studies reviewed showed no causal link between immigration and crime rates. I'm not going to read these all. I just want to, you can pause, look over all of them. No evidence in undocumented immigration increases violent crime. Some evidence it was associated with slight declines in certain property crimes. So essentially, there's studies, there's more than one study on this, that like immigrants moving into an area actually decreases crime all around. Like, but yeah, as I said, here is all the studies, and I didn't prompt this in a biased way, and this is the studies. And I also, just so we can get the economy argument out of the way, here's some researches on their impact of the economy. The main thing is they can slightly depress wages for low-skilled native workers. In my opinion, this could be solved with just having a livable minimum wage and not $7.25 an hour, and other labor protections. And then the rest are pretty much good. They make up a good portion of our workforce. They pay billions of taxes into systems that they don't even get to collect from. So again, pause if you'd like to look at all these studies. This was prompted in a completely unbiased way. So I encourage you to look at it. Next, we have, I assume it's from the same interview, but I can't listen to like 10 minutes of Tom Homan talking. I'll lose my goddamn mind. So I just want to read a little bit of this. White House border czar Tom Homan said Monday that about 139,000 illegal immigrants have been deported since President Trump took office 98 days ago. Last time I was counting, it was 139,000 deportations. Am I happy with the numbers? The numbers are good, especially if you look at the ICE numbers, Homan said at the White House briefing. Also, I want to note that they always refer to these people as criminals, and it's important to note, it is very important to note, that despite what Donald Trump and his administration and other Republicans say, coming here illegally, crossing the border illegally, is a misdemeanor. It's not a criminal offense. It's like a civil offense. I have a misdemeanor. What are you going to do? Lock me up? Send me to El Salvador? Deport me? And to obtain a lot of these legal statuses, because there's a variety of legal statuses, you actually have to come here illegally to seek asylum statuses, which a lot of these people are. And it's no secret that the Trump administration is deporting people here on temporary protected status or on asylum status, even up to people who are permanent green card holders. So, yeah, just don't take them at their word when they're saying they're deporting criminals and mass murderers and rapists and gang members. Like, the actual criminals and gang members that they're deporting probably makes up such a small percentage of just normal people who came here trying to seek a better life or escape poverty or war in their native country. And a lot of the issues that they're escaping were caused by our interference in one way or the other. So it's just insane. Yeah. And then he goes in on Joe Biden. We always have to go on Joe Biden. Like, it's just, he lives in their minds rent-free. The ICE arrests and removals are far beyond former President Biden's, he announced. I read the media. The deportations are behind the Biden administration. But why? Because they counted border removal. We don't have 10.5 million people crossing the border. We don't have border removals. Homan said he believes over 20 million illegal immigrants are in the U.S., but his efforts would focus on the nearly 700,000 who have been accused of convicted of crimes. That's just not true. That's not true. Like, you look at the people, they're even the worst of the worst people they're trying to sell us on, that they're sending to El Salvador. Most of them have no criminal records. Up to 90% of them have no criminal records in the U.S. or their native country. So they're just lying. Anyways, and about the Biden administration, yes, there were less immigrants trying to come in under, obviously, this administration and Trump's first term. But you can also look at the raw numbers and the percentage. And by percentage, Biden still beats Trump. Or President Obama still beats Trump. Now, I'm not defending that, okay? I'm against it across the board no matter who's doing it. Let me be clear, but it's just something I have to point out because everyone in one breath is like, Biden's so terrible on immigration, or Democrats are so bad on immigration and the border. And then they're like, well, Biden deported a couple million people and you guys don't say anything. So what is it? Is he good or bad? Like, yeah. Next, he said, in the article, he said that he believes there's nearly 700,000 that have been accused or convicted of crimes. I like how it's accused or convicted of crimes, because we know accused or alleged is just, it can be anyone with this administration, as we've seen by the people they're sending to El Salvador. They say you're a terrorist and you're an alleged terrorist. So that skips your due process to see if that's actually true or not. And then you get shipped away, as we've seen several times and we covered several times. I just wanted to fact check that. Here's a quote. So, ChatGPT, Tom Homan's claim that approximately 700,000 undocumented immigrants with criminal charges are currently in the U.S. is broadly supported by available data, though the exact figures vary slightly depending on the source and definitions used. According to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement data from July 2024, there were approximately 435,000 non-citizens with criminal convictions and an additional 226,847 with pending criminal charges, totaling around 662,000 individuals. Here's the important part that Republicans, and this was like kind of a part of fueling the argument that Biden let criminals and rapists just run amongst in the streets. If they're not in ICE detention, they just assume they're on the streets, but they're not accounting for people who are actually serving prison time in a U.S. prison. Funny how you can use data to really sell a point. Republicans are good at that. I give them credit for it. They can really twist information around and really sell it. Anyways, ending off with a quick update on Abrego Garcia, and this is also from Tom Homan. So in response to, there's not a ton of updates on Abrego Garcia. As far as I know, he is still in El Salvador, and he is, I believe, been moved to a facility that's not CCOT. And as far as the Trump administration's rhetoric on it, they're still doubling down on it, as we're about to read here. So I don't accept the term error. And Abrego Garcia, Homan said, there was an oversight, there was a withholding order, but the facts surrounding the withholding order had changed. He is now a terrorist, and the gang he was fearing from being removed from El Salvador no longer exists. So the facts change. He is now a terrorist. Like, what changed? Nothing changed. Like, as I said, if he was this gangbanger, as they like to call him, and an actual gang member, and they had actual evidence against him, aside from 2 immigration court judges going on based on a confidential informant who was later fired to say he was a gang member. Like, if there was actually evidence, then why wasn't he deported then? Or why wasn't he put in prison then? Donald Trump was president. Like, and now it's like, yeah, now he's a terrorist, because now we've deemed these gangs as terrorists, and now we're going to pull this ancient wartime act to just say, hey, we can allege anyone as this and get rid of them without any due process or anything. And apparently that means sending them to a foreign extermination camp as well. So, yeah, it's dark. It is dark, but hopefully, we continue to make progress on Abrego Garcia. It's clear we are pushing them in one direction, because at first it was like, yeah, you're not even going to get a video call. We're not even going to tell you if he's alive. To actually getting him out and having like a little interview and meet with Senator Chris Van Hollen, and to him actually being moved from CCOT. So keep fighting, keep making your voice heard in that regard. But it's just hard. But I will always, in general, be, and just in principle, stand on immigration, because there's just not an argument you can really make against it that is supported by actual widespread studies. Like I said, if it's crime, economy, like, it's all in favor of immigration. And future problems that we know are coming as a country, like declining birth rates, is coming, and you're going to need immigration to solve that, so we don't have to bring back child labor laws. But Americans seem to be so hardwired on, like, against immigration, that no matter how many studies show that immigrants commit significantly less crimes of all forms, or that they are a net positive to the economy, somehow Americans seem to come to the conclusion that they shouldn't come here illegally. Oh, you can come back illegally, not realizing how long and hard it is to get here through the legal process. And as I said earlier, to get certain legal statuses, you do have to come here legally, like to get asylum status, and in some cases, temporary protected status. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you're not human. They think that immigrants, undocumented, or even green card holders don't get due process. They don't get protection from cruel and unusual punishment, because they're fine with us sending them to El Salvador. They don't get free speech, and there's just the Constitution as a whole doesn't apply to them. Like, these are humans, and the Constitution is meant to protect everyone in the United States. It doesn't matter what your status is. Or they just think they're criminals, despite earlier studies that we've shown, and that coming here illegally in of itself is not criminal. It's a misdemeanor. But again, most people can't formulate an actual logical reason why they are so against immigration. It's been hammered over and over by both, for the most part, Democrats and Republicans, that they are bad. But, like, again, I ask, why do you support these mass deportations? Does it make healthcare more affordable? Does it make education more affordable or free? Does it improve our infrastructure? Does it address inflation? Does it improve your wages? No, it doesn't. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.